The public school system, they'll have me come and speak as a assembly speaker, motivational, inspirational, but they'll always tell you, don't mention God. Yet youth prisons, very few people ever go there to speak to the youth. I got invited to go out of a fluke by someone said, hey man, I heard your story. You ought to come tell it to the kids. And to be honest, I didn't want to go. I was like, I'm not really interested in that. I've seen enough troubled times as a youth. He said, well, why don't you come and do a little bit of martial arts demonstration and just share your story briefly. So I agreed. I said, all right, went. And I actually got in there. There was like 75 kids sitting on a floor doing these assemblies. And I did my martial arts still because I was nervous. I mean, you walk in there, there are gang members. Really, it was hard kids. And they're looking at me like, what are you going to do? And that was just the girls, so I'm thinking, this is a tough crowd. And I ended up doing a demonstration using a pair of nunchucks to knock a pencil out of a guy's mouth. And when I swung, I missed. And I actually overshot it, hit his chin, and split him open. It was my first time in a juvenile facility, first time to do an outreach. Boom, I hit him. And while he was staggering, I swung and knocked the pencil out before he could start bleeding, because mission focused. And I tell you what, as horrible as I felt, that was a crowd changer. Because all those kids that were looking at me like, what you gonna talk about? After I hit that guy and he's bleeding, they were like, this dude ain't playing. And then they sat up, they were like real attentive. They're like, hey, he's crazy, man. And it really gave me the platform to start speaking. When I started sharing that my father was a drug dealer and a pimp at a time of his life, didn't claim me and rejected me as this kid, they all of a sudden started to relate. And there's something to be said when someone knows your type of pain and can give you hope. And I shared it, and I also shared the hope that was within me, which is Christ. And it's interesting because even though the public schools didn't want me to share about God or Jesus, the youth prisons were like, hey man, say whatever you want. You can't hurt these kids anymore. And that day, 56 kids responded to the gospel and stood and gave their life to Christ out of 75. It was so overwhelming. I thought they didn't understand me. So I was like, okay, sit back down. Do you understand what I'm saying? That's it. 56. You're not going to get opposing gang members from different gangs to stand up and say, I want that. But they did. And that's the power of God's Spirit moving and giving hope and healing to youth that have been troubled, abused, and finally hear the truth. And that's why we did it, and that's why we still do it and love it.